They have the hard-hitting analysis.
I'm anti-injury, so maybe this won't work out.
Kyler's only playing one tight end this week, so that's probably going to help him out a lot.
They tell it like it is.
That's not what I needed, Grandpa Nut.
All right, the hipster fantasy player.
I don't do anything.
Their listeners love them.
Found all your charts boring, to be frank. Caitlin was the star of the show.
They break down all the statistics.
20 points. That doesn't quite add up. Maybe had 93.
This is the Snick Snack Sports Podcast.
Here we... All right, Snickers, help me out.
What's going on, all you fantasy football fans out there? Welcome back to another episode of the Snick Snack Sports Fantasy Football Podcast. How are we doing today, Nate?
Doing bad today, Nick. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I went 2-0 last week. Why are you doing so bad?
I was the Chump, the Week
You-
5 Chump.
You were chumped?
I was chumped.
Dang, gonna have to find a new host for next week. That's too bad.
Yeah. Got a big ugly C on the forehead, so to speak. Finally happened. 94 points in the week has not been chumped material so far, but this week it was, and it'll keep going up. So,
Watch your ankles.
yeah, watch your ankles. Of course, John still scored 70 or whatever he does every week, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, the favorite is out of the running for those who are interested.
The one who 2 weeks ago I think was claimed to be definitely the winner of the Chump League.
I fully believed it. I really did. But the show goes on, the season goes on, whatever. Still in the Eliminator Challenge. That's fun. So we'll talk
Life
about
of a
that a little
showgirl,
later.
whatever it means. Yeah, you're right.
And yeah, let's get into the week. Some highlights besides my chumping this week.
Yeah, there are a lot of highlights, a lot of high scores. Hit 130. The Ducky and Matt matchup was 131 to 129. That was definitely the matchup of the week, one to watch. That was all the Patriots game. Drake May and Stephon Diggs going back and back on opposite teams there. We got Kenny with a 137 that ended up beating you by just a couple points. But having 117 at sixth place, at being the one who barely got the 2-0 was Shane there. A lot of fun games last week, and then quite a bit of people right underneath 100 points.
Yeah, a lot of piling around 100. Then the big gap from 105 to 117, which ended up being our 6-7 gap. So Katie did not get the league win this week with 105 points. She was the cutoff. So if we look over at our standings now, she still looks pretty good in the standings despite an 0-2 week. But we have Kenny kind of running away with things at the moment. Now a 95% chance to make the playoffs, only 5 weeks into the season. He's 9-1. Meanwhile, we have John, who is 2-8, along with Kyle, although at this point, John's team looks so much worse than Kyle's, but John still has a 7% chance to make the playoffs. Don't give up here, John.
It was 8% when we started prepping, so it's gone down.
I had not noticed that. I wonder what happened. And yeah, so my percentage is starting to look a little grim. But a couple of wins this week against John, I think will pull me out of that hole, no problem.
Yeah, no, our matchups this week could not be more different. You have the number 12 matchup this week, and I have the number 1 matchup this week. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, a very healthy middle of the field right now. I mean, I guess we consider you having moved up now into the top of the field at 7-3, along with Ducky and Katie. Ducky, who's already been chumped, if we recall.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Shane, mid-tier Nick, Carson, and Kyler all right there in the middle of the pack.
Yep.
Now, before we forget, we had our bet last week as well. I had guessed that Kyler would be chumped. He scored 119 for fifth place. You had guessed Kyle would be chumped. Remember, he's 2-8, still in the chumping competition, got 99 points, and eke out another one to stay in. At this
Yeah,
point, if my team can't win, I am all in on Kyle's team. He will win this year. He'll be probably not get another win the rest of the year. He'll probably end up being 2-20 or whatever, or
but
what,
not be
two and
jumped.
26. But he will be Chump King.
Yeah,
So
that's the nickname he's been looking for is Chump King.
absolutely, it's the one we're all looking for.
Yeah, King of the
And
Chumps.
um, yeah, how about the news from around the NFL?
We have quite a bit of news this week. Obviously, quick just header off the top of the show here. Vikings and Texans are on bye. Vikings are finally coming back to the United States. We got Omarion Hampton, IR, 4 weeks. It looks like that's gonna be a short IR trip, if that means anything to the owners of Omarion there. We got Antonio Gibson on IR, which means that you think that Trevian Henderson might get some more play time. We got Brenton Strange, the target Hawk in Jacksonville on IR. We got Darius Slayton out at least a week. We got Kyler Murray, got hit in the head with a football, but also has a foot injury. Don't really know what's going on there. We got the big trade. The Cleveland Browns traded their 39-year-old quarterback Joe Flacco to the Bengals, and he's going to be starting this week against Green Bay. Could be the first player ever to beat the same team twice in a year with two different teams.
Hmm.
That's going to happen at all. We also have some outside of starter news here. We got Robbie Chosen Anderson is on the Commanders practice squad, got signed to their team. We have Odell Beckham Jr., former Brown, is out for 6 weeks with a PED suspension. Yes, he is not on a team right now, but he is still suspended for 6 weeks, so he cannot play for 6 weeks here.
Said he must have been on PED as well. He played for somebody though.
When he failed a test when he was with the Dolphins last year, correct?
I see. I did not even remember that he was on the Dolphins last year, so that tells you how well that season went for him, I guess.
Man, Odell's the best.
Sounds like he's getting pretty desperate, but um, yeah. And so now this week we have on the show our current league leader, Kenny. So excited to have Kenny joining us here. All right, welcome to the show, Kenny. I hear you're joining us from a Magic event of sorts.
Yeah, I'm hanging out in a magic shop, a local magic store. It is normally modern night, although I'm not actually playing tonight. I just came to hang out with some of my friends. But yeah, shout out Titan Game Store in Coriopolis, Pennsylvania. Really
Mm.
awesome store. They're letting me hang out in the back, kind of away from everyone, so I'm not disrupting them and they're not disrupting me. So
Yeah, shout out. What do you say to people that don't believe in magic, Kenny?
they're just wrong.
Mm.
I mean, all I have to do is look at your season here to see that the magic run from the guy with no fantasy talents finally having a good year, right?
No fantasy talent. I made the finals
I
last
believe
year,
Kenny was
dude.
pacing the field all last year, and then he got second place. So,
Well, you know I can't help myself, Kenny.
No, you can't.
But no, I am interested to hear what you think the secret ingredient to your team is this year. Because it clearly isn't you, but
You're starting to
and
you're starting to take Nick Adams' thunder a little bit too much, though. That's Nick's thunder.
that's yeah, good point, good point, and we'll love to hear his thoughts on your team. Um, but I also have to congratulate you because really, you called my chumping this week. I got chumped. You were right. You got a point there.
Yeah, look, you can't ride high forever, Nate. You had a little bit of a nice little rise there, nice little bit of joy, and I was like, it's coming crashing down. It's Nate.
hmm.
And you were right. You were right. Um, I felt pretty strong after everybody called my demise like 2 weeks ago, and then you said, "No, what? No, it's still coming," and you were right. So, um, but let's take a look at last week's matchup, I guess, which was against me.
Mhm.
And now again, you're the only 9-1 team, so you're solo. You're the only holder of first place right now.
Yep.
Um, who is the MVP of your team right now?
I mean, the obvious MVP is Puka Nakua. I think he's having obviously a phenomenal season. Certainly, I mean, that's not like a surprise to anyone. And I mean, there was a reason I made the trade with Ducky when I did. This was, I guess now, was that end of right before last season I made that trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, right before last season I made that trade. But like I did it for a reason. Like I knew if I could hold on to him, like I have a couple strong years, I'm setting myself up for success. So he's the obvious MVP. But I mean, even beyond that, I think, just it's a nice strong core, and there's a lot of, all the pieces are good. I think Gentie's kind of, we had the rocky start, but now Gentie's kind of coming in and he's starting to produce more. I think he will continue to develop as a rookie. Um, Derrick Henry had a nice strong start. I think he'll get back on the saddle. I think the King will come back. He's having a rough couple weeks, but I think the Ravens as a whole are, but the King will return.
Mm.
Yeah, and maybe some honorable mentions to Baker Mayfield and Javonte Williams, who I've been impressed with their performances this year.
I Javonte Williams, I mean, crushed it into the Eagles the first week, hitting 2 touchdowns as he's sitting on my bench, and I'm just sitting there like, really? No, that's not going to continue. And then it did continue. He's just really picked himself up as the workhorse of that backfield, and really someone that you almost wouldn't have expected. He's had kind of rocky couple years, and out of nowhere, just developing and just producing like crazy in Dallas. So
Yeah, I've been kind of watching your progression of moving him into your lineup, maybe not. And then I think maybe week 3 or 4, you said, okay, we're actually going to start doing this.
yep,
And not to preview next week yet, but I noticed that Derrick Henry's out of your lineup and Javante's in your top 2
yeah.
starting running backs. So
Because then another interesting surprise, J.K. Dobbins has kind of started producing pretty big. So I mean,
yeah,
like I think I had a plan, was I just wanted to stock, potential upside running backs, potential upside wide receivers, just hold them on my bench, and if I have some weeks where players aren't producing or they're going to have rough matchups, we can just slot some guys in and see, and we'd be able to kind of pick and choose and go to waivers as necessary. And then I just like haven't needed to.
mm,
They've just all been hanging in there. So knock on wood, not too many issues with injuries yet, and we're hanging in there. But so it's been a really strong start to the season. We'll see how well I can hold it out. But
oh yeah,
Yeah, now let's look ahead to next week's matchup, one that's also a very keen interest on the show because it's the number 1 versus number 2. Um, oh, actually, sorry, this isn't the right window. Um, and
yeah, it's
but
a
it's
really
you
exciting
versus
matchup,
our
Kenny.
our good friend Nick.
yeah, or just back to back podcast weeks. I'm just gonna try to take both of you out, back to back.
Yeah, Nate was pointing out last week that someone had the highest projection of like 123 or so, and now we both have a really high projection going against each other. So it has to be the highest over under the week or over the season so far, and it's
Mhm.
going to be really exciting, I think.
No, I definitely think this is an exciting matchup. I mean, you also have a lot of players that I really like. Having a Emeka Ibuka, he was someone I was hoping was going to slide a little bit in the draft, and when he went, I was like, dang it, yeah, I missed that opportunity because I had really good feelings there. Jaden Daniels, obviously, when he's healthy, puts up great numbers.
Yeah.
You do have a very well built team, so I think maybe potential preview of the championship match. Who knows?
Hey, that's what we're looking for. I'd love to go up against you in a championship, but yeah, just Emeka Ibuka, I just got to give a big shout out, and like he should have been a first round pick. Like he's so good.
Oh yeah.
And I've loved that he's been doing it. I love George Pickens' big game that he had 2 weeks ago against the Packers.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I got a lot of guys that are hitting high upside right now, and same like you. I'm trying to make sure that stays for as long as possible.
Yeah, I don't know if you realize this, Kenny, but Snickers has not made the playoffs since starting this show. So he
You know what?
this
I mean, that does make sense, right? Because he's won the toilet bowl 2 years running now.
I didn't win
I
it
think
last year
Oh,
last
you
year
didn't
because
win it last year. You
I,
won the 2 previous years. That's
yeah,
right.
I'd never missed the playoffs in any league until 3 years ago, and now I haven't made the playoffs. So I'm happy
um
about my team right now, but cautiously optimistic. I'm happy for our matchup this week. Love for if both of us can go 1-1 somehow. I'm not sure how that works. That's definitely can't happen, right? But
Uh,
fun.
no, I don't think that's how would that work? No, I don't think that's remotely possible, but that would be the ideal scenario. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're easily the matchup of the week. I mean, rest of the league, whatever. But
Yeah, no, it's for sure. And it's hard to make a pick here. I just looking at your lineup would have thought that Kenny's is actually stronger this week, Nick, but I had no idea that George Pickens was number 5 on the year. So he's clearly had a stronger campaign than I had been understanding.
well, I mean, because a lot
Um,
of that really does come to Dak Prescott. Dak has
Yeah.
had a really phenomenal season where a lot of people kind of thought. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I've watched a lot of sports, TV, and everything, and everyone just was like, "Yeah, Cowboys last place in the NFC East. Cowboys are going to suck this year. Cowboys are done, especially after the Parsons trade." And it
Yeah.
has been, much to my chagrin as an Eagles fan, has been really impressive seeing the Cowgirls do as well as they have. And Dak have as strong a season as he has. He's really put the team on his back. And, if he's going to put the team on his back, he's got to throw it to people. And Pickens is a good target, especially with CeeDee Lamb being out recently. So,
yeah, and well, despite the team playing well, Jerry Jones still figured out how to make an embarrassment of himself. But
By flipping
look,
off.
long live Jerry Jones. He will forever make a fool of himself, and Eagles fans get to laugh at him. It's the one thing that unites Eagles, Commanders, and Giants fans is that we all get to laugh at Jerry Jones. And long live Jerry Jones. I want to make fun of him for the next decade. He can keep living.
absolutely. Um, and now, Nick, what is your matchup of the week outside of this one, which obviously takes the cake?
Yeah, like I said, obviously this one was gonna be a pretty good one. It's one everyone's gonna be watching. But my matchup is gonna be Shane and Kyler for a very specific reason. They're both 5-5 right now. They're both kind of on different tracks. They're both, I'd say, having disappointing seasons despite being, half and half here. So I think whoever wins this, if someone can go 2-0, they're going to be shot up and be playoff contender, and the one who loses this is going to be maybe out of the season that their season's going to go down in the dumps.
So you're not clear on which direction each team is going, but you think this game will tell us a lot about that.
I think we'll decide it. Yeah, I kind of like Nick's team a little bit better, or sorry, Kyler's team a little bit better, just because his team is slightly higher upside. Um, Shane's team is all B players that could do good, could do not good, but yeah, I'm gonna think it's gonna be Kyler just because I've been asking for Shane to get Chump for so long.
Yeah, yeah, two middling teams who have not ever had a really terrible game, not at least enough to get chumped. Um, and I kind of have the opposite take. I think that Kyler's team is barely hanging on here. Just and we can't see it here, but the depth is not there for his team. So it's not
Mm.
going to take a lot to derail it. He might still only have two running backs on his whole roster. That's even though Ramondre's looked a little better recently, that's been a scary ride. Um, and Meanwhile, Shane kind of got a bounce back year from Pat Mahomes, um, and a surprisingly strong year from Devontae Adams and Michael Pittman. So I think that while I don't think either team is headed for the championship, I think Shane's got it this week. What do you think, Kenny?
I think you're crazy, Nate. It's definitely Kyler. Kyler's got the edge here.
Mm.
I think you see a bounce back, a nice like kind of bounce week for Lad McConkey. I think Bo Nix always has good upside. Like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is there, and they're figuring things out somehow. But I like Bo Nix. McCaffrey's been holding on, trying to be healthy. If McCaffrey stays healthy, I think that's a big bump. Um, I don't know. I don't feel it with Shane's team. I'm with Snickers on this one. I think Kyler's got the edge here.
All right. Well, I think it's going to be close. We will certainly see. I also want to highlight the I can actually keep highlighting his team, I feel like, but the Carson versus Ducky matchup. Two teams that are used to be kind of the second upper tier. Now they kind of switched spots here. Ducky's elevated himself. Carson's fallen off a little bit, but Carson had a really hot start. I'm interested to see if he can get back that mojo with Josh Allen and James Cook. Still, they've been consistent players for him, and he just has a lot of other players, with a lot of potential who haven't been able to pull it together the last couple of weeks.
So you're leaning more Carson, you think?
What's that?
Are you leaning more Carson, you think? Based on the top of the ticket, or?
I don't know if I'm interested to see if it can be. I kind of like what you are saying about the other matchup, Nick. I think this week will tell us a lot. Like, can Jamar Chase figure it out? He is still seventh somehow. I
And
guess
he does
it's
have a
easy
new
to forget about
quarterback.
his good weeks. And he has
Oh,
this new quarterback. And Joe
that's I
Flacco
think
has
the
been.
interesting key. I think it's gonna be how well does Joe Flacco fit in with the Cincinnati offense? I mean, he's 40 years old, but I mean, he's still slinging it. He's still out there going. If he can mesh well with Jamar Chase, that could be a ticket for Carson to kind of pull what might be a bit of a mild upset and take out Ducky. But I think that's your key player to watch is Jamar Chase and how well he meshes with Flacco this week.
Hmm.
Yeah, totally. But Jamar Chase gets back his superstar status, and Carson's team looks, I think, really good again.
Mhm.
Um, he and Joe Flacco was so bad for the Browns, but he's done this thing where he joins a new team and also he looks awesome. He's done that like 3 years in a row. So
Hmm.
Well, can we also point out this is now his third AFC North team.
He
So
just
we
wants to beat
really
the
do
Steelers
need
with
him to
every
just come to
team.
the Steelers
Yeah.
just for him to collect them all. It's the infinity gauntlet of jerseys. He just needs to achieve that.
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, the setup is there. He that's not even out of the possibility that happens this year, I feel like.
It very well could.
Um, and on Ducky's team, I think the thing to watch, I guess two things. One, can Stephon Diggs keep looking like a star player for the Patriots? I don't think we really expected the output he's had over the past 2 weeks, and also I actually don't know if I pronounce his first name, Jackery or Jacory Krosky
Jacory,
Merritt.
Bill.
Bill, will he be um, as good as he was last week? I kind of hope that he's not because I have his share partner in that backfield on my bench.
If
But
Chris Rodriguez projected 3 points, Nate, I think that ship might have sailed. You could probably drop him.
it was we need another week or two on that because they were 50-50 shareholders just 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
Um, so 1 week does not make the season.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I don't think that Jamar is going to totally save his season. I think Ducky has this week's matchup. What do you guys think?
Kind of thinking the same thing that Ducky has quite a bit of flexibility on his team, meaning that Steph and Bill and a bunch of players can possibly do, super, super well, be top 12 in their positions, or they could get 3 or 4 or 5 points. Meanwhile, Carson, I think, is 105 projection is pretty accurate here. That if he just stays the course and hope that Ducky has a bad week, then he can maybe get the win. But I'm gonna lean to Nick here as well.
Yeah, I'm going the same way. I think it's Ducky's matchup to win this week. He's got it. It's really I don't think Flacco on 4 days of prep with Jamar Chase is going to be quite clicking exactly right. That's the only thing that could upset it is if they do manage to just click instantly. Carson has a shot, but I think this is Ducky's this week.
Mm.
And then I think the next big question, Kenny, becomes who is chumped this week? We have 7 people left. If you need a reminder of who they are, we can let you know.
I
But
would
yeah,
love a reminder. I think I have a name in my head, but I want to make sure that I'm remembering correctly who all's left.
so people who are no longer eligible are John, Ducky, Matt, Carson, and myself.
So I am misremembering because I would have otherwise guessed Matt.
Yeah, he was 2 weeks ago or maybe 3 weeks ago. Um,
Well, you know what they say, fair is fair. So I kick it back at mid-tier Nick. It's Nick Adams.
All right, let's go over. The other matchup. You think this is going to be a bit of a garbage fest, huh?
I mean, it's just Nick's team sucks. Nick sucks. He's gonna lose. I just feel it.
You know
He
what,
was awful close to getting chumped last week. He was just a couple points away.
Kenny? I'm having the same exact thought as you right now. I'm picking Nick Adams as well, mid-tier to be chumped this week. I know that Kyler and Kyle may have worse records and may have been second to last place in the chump betting a couple times, but yeah, I'm not liking his team this week. Nick's team. He's got Amon Ra, but outside of that, it's Chris Godwin, who's not been good. Kimani Vidal, who is the backup to the fourth string running back on the Chargers. You got
Yeah.
yeah, tough matchup. Steelers defense can be a second best player.
And
Could be.
yeah, Nick Adams might be 5-5. His team's hanging on to playoff hopes still, but he's been handing out shotgun challenges left and right. He gave one to you, Kenny. I believe he owes one to Snickers now,
And he owes
Hmm.
one to Carson.
and he owes one to Carson. So um,
His poor liver.
his poor liver, yeah. So yeah, I think that pick makes sense to me. Although last time you called him Snickers, I believe he got the number
He
one
did get first
on
place
the
when I
week.
called him. I think that was week 2 or something, but tides have
You better not
turned,
be
things have
jinxing this for
changed.
me, Snickers. That's not fun. Don't
Hmm.
be jinxing that for me.
I mean the jinx has definitely been worked in your favor so far, Kenny. I think that he has with the week that he called you, I think it was not close.
No, it has not been since I've been doing really well since he started picking me, so he's welcome to keep trying. I encourage it.
Hmm. Nate, who are you trying to jinx this week by having a good week and be your
So
champion?
I'm coming back to Katie this week. I did get the reverse jinx on her. I think she had an awesome week the last time I called her name, but um, I think this is the week that it finally happened for her. She does have the Jalen Hurts, Saquon, we call it a pseudo stack, but just Debo Samuel with that, ranking of number 9. He's not going to be any good this week. Uh, Hunter Henry, I think, was a bit of a, mirage. She's relying on Juwan Jennings, I think. Yeah, unfortunately got impacted by the Mariah Hampton injury. Um, and now the CD Lamb injury through a trade. So that was kind of her choice, which we'll talk about in a moment. Um, but yeah, just her team's on very fragile ground. Um, and playing against the force that is Kyle. So
Kyle
um,
with Dak. Yeah, you never know.
yeah, but that reminds me, I think we want to make sure we leave some time. We've had 2 trades this week, and I'm very curious of your guys' takes on the trades. What were those trades, Nick?
Yeah, the first trade was between Matt and Katie that Ducky had to come to seek some outside opinions to make sure there wasn't any, family collusion there. But we got CeeDee Lamb injured and Hunter Henry from Matt sent to Katie for Rome Odunze, Devontae Smith, and DeAndre Swift. So on paper, I think that it was fairly even. And that's what I was telling Ducky. When CD comes back healthy, obviously that's going to change things. If he doesn't come back healthy, or if the Cowboys start to pack it up after they lose a couple games, then it could not be fair anymore. But it's a lot more. There's a lot of upside on the that Matt's getting there as well.
Yeah, where do you fall on this trade, Kenny?
So I know Ducky did reach out to me as well. I was one of the people that he did ask. I told him my answer was I think Matt wins this. I don't think it's like it's not like a blowout he wins this trade, but like it's not I don't think it's particularly close. I think Matt wins this just straight up, but I didn't think it was to a level of like it's collusion. I mean, Katie, if you want to make the trade, go for it. I'm not stopping you. I didn't think it was anything malicious, but I didn't agree with it. at least from Katie's perspective. From Matt's perspective, slam it. That's incredible. I think he gets a lot of value out of it.
Hmm.
I kind of felt the same way. It's funny. I guess Ducky's really making the rounds last week because he asked me to weigh in too, and I was like, yeah, it seems like a fair trade, but I definitely believe that Matt will come out on top in this one. I think normally you want to be on the end with the strongest piece, and there's an argument that CD Lamb is the strongest piece, but just there was enough talent on the side coming his way that I think the rule may not apply in this case.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I think we're all in agreement. We'll see how it, lines up the rest of the season here. The other trade, Matt's been pretty busy because just earlier today he traded his Brian Thomas Jr. for Tedero McMillan on Kyle's team for a favorable pick swap on that BDJ is going to be getting a higher pick there. But I think Matt's just been trying to get rid of Brian Thomas because he's not been good and he keeps dropping and losing games for the Jaguars. But yeah, overall, I think Tet is probably going to end up being the better player unless, Brian starts catching balls and starts having the same renaissance he had at the end of last season.
Yeah, I think the trade was fair. There's an argument for both sides. I just don't really understand where the trade came from. I know Matt really wanted to get rid of Brian Thomas Jr. and I guess that's it. But you just don't see the wide receiver for wide receiver swap directly a lot. So that clearly they just disagreed on the prospects of those players. Um, but yeah, so it wasn't addressing a team need. One person was just like, I think Brian Thomas is good, I guess, and then Matt's like, I don't think he's good, but I think Tat's good, and I don't know. Where do you land on this one, Kenny?
Uh, Kind of the same as Snickers was saying. Just I think Tat's gonna be better. I think that's again just a trade Matt wins. And to your point, a little strange to see the straight up wide receiver for wide receiver, just the different valuations on players. But I and this is again where we all land. Everyone has a different evaluation on who's going to be better. Just I think a general consensus seems to be would rather trade away Brian Thomas Jr. But
Mhm.
it's otherwise relatively, it's relatively fair. I mean, it is just wide receiver for wide receiver, but I think Matt wins that one as well. He's been
Yeah,
a,
I
he's
just see.
been a
I just
busy bee. I know he was messaging me seeking trades. I told him absolutely not. Forget who all he wanted. And I was like, no,
Hmm.
my team's
same.
great. You're not addressing my needs, so go away.
He would really wanted me to take Brian Thomas Jr. off his hands too, and I played with it a little bit. Couldn't make it work on my side either. But I think just with him, yes, he had an awesome year last year. But there are players who have awesome rookie years who never make anything after that, and he's got a lot of red flags because of that kind of trajectory with just the poor performance through 5 games mixed with like the kind of disagreements with the coaching staff and that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, this sounds like one of those players who we remember like I don't know, I can't think of a good example, but those other players have happened.
Yeah.
Um, a little bit of Odell, although he had a couple years, of course, that were really good.
Mhm.
Um, we'll see. We'll see. And then just a quick look at the offers report from the week. Um, it was kind of a weird one. No big ticket items, but Hassan Haskins attracted some interest. Ducky ended up getting them for $13. Seems like a pretty decent deal given the what's the Amari Hampton? That's you said short-term injury, right, Nick?
IR, so at least 4 weeks, but it's looking like probably just 4 weeks and not 6 or 7. Yeah.
Okay, so they had $13 for starting running back for 4 weeks. Awesome, yeah. I wish that I had kind of made that connection last night. And then the Packers got two $12 bids.
That I think is
So
the
about
most
that.
fascinating thing on the waiver report. Like I remember looking at it, and then not only that, and then just and then an extra $2 bid in there. It's just three people after that Packers defense.
Yeah, good
Just a
match
funny
this
one.
week. The good defense in general. They were on bye last week. That's why they got dropped, kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, I agree. And at first I was like, oh, I guess I had forgotten that the Packers were like dominant before the bye. And then I looked and they're 24th, on the year. nothing crazy. They had one good week and one really bad week against the Cowboys.
Mhm.
But clearly Kyle and Kyler both loved what they saw. So I agree, Kenny. I thought it was a kind of a funny thing. Um, and then um, apparently Ducky didn't know who to place his bet on because he also put a large bet on Kamani Vidal when else he's on the same team. Didn't get him, but
Yeah, Kenny, I
yeah,
see you picked up one of me and Nate's favorite players, Kendrick Bourne, the bridge.
Yeah, just sitting just there for the bench right now. We'll see what happens because I know the Niners just always dealing with injuries. So I was like, I'm
yeah.
gonna
I mean,
throw $5 at him.
had a
There's
great connection with Mac Jones. To be determined if he can have that connection with Brock Purdy. So,
Yep.
um, but yeah. And unfortunately, Kenny, you were eliminated, I believe, from our challenge, the Eliminator Challenge.
Yeah, that was
To
a really unfortunate one. Did not expect the Giants to beat the Chargers. That was rather unfortunate. I was like, oh, all right, I guess that happens. Sure. I mean, that's part of the fun of Eliminator. I think it's always interesting to see, what stupid loss is going to mess you up.
It definitely
Yeah,
scares you when you go and pick your next one because I'm looking at like, oh, Broncos against the Jets, like, oh, it's super easy, but then the Broncos definitely gonna lose that game. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
yeah. Well, always fun to have you on the show, Kenny. I think we're gonna get cut off in a second, but thanks for joining as always, and we'll see you all next week.